Hi everyone, I'm Alex, and today I'm going to be interviewing Mrs. Huang, the Mandarin teacher. Hi Mrs. Huang,
Hi, Alex. Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you as well. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions, alright?
Sure.
Alright. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background? How long have you been teaching?
Okay. I was born in Taiwan, and I've been teaching Mandarin Chinese for about 10 years. This is my second year teaching at Cougar Leadership Academy.
Oh, that's great. So what are your expectations for students in this class?
I hope that everyone who have the chance to learn Chinese can have fun in my class. I think that's the most thing that I'm looking forward to. Just be relaxed and you will make a lot of friends because you can practice speaking Chinese in the class and just be patient, be determined, and eventually you will be able to master Chinese.
Oh, that's wonderful. So what is your favorite unit to teach in this class?
The favorite unit in my first year of Chinese class is when we learn about hobbies, because I get to learn new, interesting hobbies from everyone.
That's great. What does a day-to-day period look like?
We usually start our class by reviewing previous lessons, and then I will teach for a brief period of time. And after my direct instruction, we will break up into small groups for everyone to practice what we just learned. And usually by the end of the class, students will show me their exit tickets to show their mastery of the lesson.
Oh, it's lovely. And lastly, what benefits will students gain from taking this class?
Besides making a lot of friends, because you will be working with different students in the class, I would say that taking Chinese opens up the opportunity of knowing people's life in the other side of the world. Also, I think taking Chinese, students will have the opportunity to learn about cultures, food, different kind of lifestyles. And finally, I think that taking a foreign language class will prepare us to be open-minded, and it's easier for us to be unbiased toward one another, since we are living in this global society with people who share different languages and background with us.
Oh, well, that's amazing. Thank you, Miss Huang. Miss Huang.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye.
Hello,
Bye.
KLA leaders, and welcome back to another segment of the Daily Cougar. Today, we are accompanied by Miss Lok, our journalism teacher here at Keeler Leadership Academy. And let's give Miss Lok a welcome. Hi, Miss Lok.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good, and you?
Good, I'm good. I'm excited.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna ask you some questions on basically just journalism and like expectations and etc.
Okay, cool.
So students get to know their elective journalism for next year and
Awesome.
get to know a little bit more.
Nice.
Okay, so my first question is how are critical thinking skills used on a daily basis in your classroom?
So that's a good question. Critical thinking skills are used every day in the classroom, especially when it comes to the writers and the reporters. When the reporters have their topics, they have to come up with a script on their own. So they do have to use critical thinking skills. They have to make sure that they have an intro in their script. They have to make sure that they have all the right information, accurate dates and whatnot. And especially with the writers, they have to make sure that when they choose a topic, that the articles that they choose to use their research on or get their information from has to be non-biased and has to be accurate as well, accurate information, because you never know, someone might be lying when they're writing or giving false information in the article.
Awesome. My next question is, what are some skills that students will learn while taking journalism?
There's a lot of skills that students will learn in journalism class because this year I've put students into different types of groups. So we have a web team, we have reporters, we have our group of writers. So each group has a certain skill set that they have to learn. So for example, the video editors have to learn how to use WeVideo and how to use transitions and editing and adding music and backgrounds and different effects to make the segments more appealing to all of you. And then the reporters have to learn how to speak well and natural and not be so nervous and memorize their lines that they're on their script. And then writers have to learn how the different style of writings, how to write those different styles. And the web team, they have to learn how to use a website and how to navigate and update a website on a weekly basis. So there's a lot of skills that will be learned in this class.
Well, it sounds like students will be in for a treat.
Yeah.
To continue that, what is something you would like students interested in taking journalism next year to know before choosing journalism as one of their possible electives for next year?
The one thing that I want students to know about journalism is that it's hard work. And it's not going to be an easy class, but once you get used to the routines of how everything is and you get used to your position on the team, then things will come naturally, like easily and naturally to you. But it is hard work. It is a lot of hard work, especially if you are new to journalism and haven't really dabbled in like editing or creating a website or writing an article and whatnot.
What is something you would like students to take away from journalism that is sure to possibly help them somehow for the rest of their lives?
One thing that I want students to take away from my class or from journalism specifically is the ability to know the truth and how to go about finding whether an article or a news segment is giving accurate information, and just being able to be open-minded to knowing the difference between a biased article, a non-biased article, as well as just making a good decision using your critical thinking skills well learned in the classroom.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
And to finalize all of this, from your point of view, what do you think makes journalism a perfect elective for those students out there trying to try out something new?
Let's see. That's a hard question to ask. Actually, this year I've had all new students. The majority of them were new, and they did not know how to report. They didn't know how to use a website. They didn't know how to write an article. And I noticed that a lot of growth and a lot of, for example, some of my reporters were very resistant when it came to reporting, and they were nervous and overthinking things, and they got so used to reporting and being on camera and recording themselves that they're like pros now, and they look so natural when they report. As well as with my writers, their writing style, they've been able to have develop their own writing style. I know I have a writer that uses a lot of puns in her writing, which makes it more engaging and fun for the reader. And the web team, they have all kinds of things that they've added to the website to make it more engaging and more lively. And they didn't know about all these things at the beginning of the school year, so I had to teach them all these different skills, and they also dabbled in those skills on their own to just be able to develop something new and be interested. I know I have you, Julian, who you never thought was, for example, Julian thought that he would never be a good reporter, and it came so natural to him that now he's so interested in reporting and broadcasting, and it just makes me feel good to know that when you try something new, you never know if you're gonna like it or not. So yeah, I think that's it. That's it for that.
Well, this is all pretty interesting. And yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that was some pretty great information for some new students next year, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna somehow influence them to most likely pick journalism.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julian. This was awesome.
No, thank you, Miss Lo.
Thanks. Have a good
My name is Julian, and I'll see you next time on the Daily Cougar.
So today I have the best teacher here for the best enrichment ever that I've heard of. So, hi, Mr. Buddy.
Hello, Macy. That best teacher term is entirely subjective, just as a disclaimer.
So, what is one of the passion projects that you wanted to work on this year, and like what really like motivated you to make this class?
My passion project for this year was this Mesa class, this Mesa elective. When we used to have a Mesa schools program here at KLA several years ago, and then it just kind of fizzled out. It just kind of evaporated. We couldn't get a lot of students to participate in it. Getting times to meet was difficult, and competing with tutoring, and then some kids would show up some days and not on others, and so our Mesa program really got kind of thin. So like I'm really excited this year that Miss Sartain asked me to teach Mesa as an elective, because now I feel like we can really start turning Mesa into something here at KLA. So like my passion project for this year is this Mesa class. It's really cool to I've been kind of just rolling out projects to see how the kids manage it. I've converted my classroom into a workspace, and we've got maker materials and tools and everything. And so with what I've learned this year through all of the distance learning and online learning and different projects that we've tried out so far, I've really got a good idea on what direction I want to take this class in next year.
Okay, that's awesome. So, like, what are some of the projects that you have worked on that you really enjoyed, even during the COVID process?
What I really enjoyed, we did a lot, a really big variety of projects. We started small with like just something simple, like just some basic challenges. Can you take a piece of paper, a plain piece of paper, and turn it into a table that will hold up a Rubik's Cube? Can you take this origami frog, and can you use a little bit of math to scale it up by 2 or to scale it down by 2? So we worked on some real engineering. I guess we should first talk about what MESA is. MESA stands for Math, Engineering, Science, and Achievement. And so we use those concepts. We use the math. We do a lot of number crunching. We do a lot of engineering, the building stuff. We use the science. We use physics and other scientific practices to solve problems, all to really achieve with honor. So saying that, we've done a variety of projects where students really didn't get a whole lot of instructions on how to do it. They were presented with a challenge on like, this is what needs to happen, and here's the materials you need to use to do it. And so some of our best projects that we did this year was students designed a car that was powered solely by a mousetrap. That was a very popular one. Another one we did was a life sciences challenge, where it actually challenged students to build a model of a human eye. And some of the ideas that kids came up with were really impressive. So what's neat is to see the way that students individually solve these kinds of problems. When they're working together, they've got really good group ideas. When they're working alone, they got really good individual ideas. And so it really made me proud to see all these different projects that really, I was just like, here's a project, do what you can with it. And they really took it to the next level. It was cool to watch them get these things done.
Oh, wow. So, like, what were some of the subjects that you've done that were like really challenging but really cool to see?
So some of the stuff that was like really challenging was like during the distance learning, okay? Because it's really hard to kind of work with stuff when you're really alone with your own ideas. One thing as an engineer, and this happens out in the real world too, is you can see what other people are doing. You can get some ideas from that. And so when you're there, really, you have to come up with your own idea. Coming up with your own ideas is remarkably difficult sometimes, as I'm sure many people have experienced. And so one thing that I was really proud of was one project that was an at-home project was a sorting machine. And students had to take common material. Well, before we did all this, at the beginning of the year, we packed a bag of materials to send home to the Mesa students. So they had some materials. And one of the projects I put out there was a sorting machine. And they had a bag of all these different size beads and little bits and baubles that they had to figure out how to pour into a cup and get this machine to sort them all out individually. And we had some terrific successes at that one, and we had some spectacular failures at it. And that really is cool because, you know, a lot of students kind of are afraid of that whole failure thing. But in Mesa, failure is great because it lets us see where we can take our projects to improve them and reiterate them into something that is functional and works even better.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Buddy, for your time. And this is Macy. See you next time on the Daily Cougar.
Hello,
Thank
Kayla leaders. Today I will be interviewing Mrs. Munoz, the Spanish teacher.
Hola.
Okay, so I have these 5 questions to ask you. So the first question is, how long have you been teaching Spanish class?
So I've been teaching for a really long time, believe it or not. I'm actually from Pennsylvania. I grew up right outside Philadelphia, and I taught Spanish there for 13 years. I taught 7th and 8th grade Spanish for 13 years, and then my husband and I, we moved out here to San Diego, and this is my 2nd year here at KLA. So in total, I've been teaching for 15 years. It's a long time.
Wow, that's a lot of
Yeah.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next question. What is your favorite unit to teach your students?
I have a lot of favorites because Spanish is so fun. Just a few. I like when we do like our food unit and we talk about the different types of food, the likes and dislikes, because I love hearing what students like and don't like, and especially when they talk about their classes and their teachers. And then one of my favorites is when we talk about the different Spanish-speaking countries and we learn all about them. And then throughout the year, we do like a little spotlight on each Spanish-speaking country. And I love doing that because there's so many amazing countries out there that speak Spanish that most of the students don't even realize they're Spanish-speaking. So I love doing that unit.
That one was my favorite too.
Yeah, I like it too.
Number 3, do you enjoy teaching Spanish class? If so, why?
Well, of course, I love it. It's so much fun. I just love the energy of the language, the culture. The kids get so excited. The music. I mean, you remember I always play music, and we talk about different artists and things like that. I just love it. I love teaching Spanish. I love being a teacher. I can't imagine myself doing anything else or teaching anything else. It's just so much fun.
Yes. Okay. What should students look forward to in your class?
Well, I mean, we're going to learn, when you come to a Spanish class, obviously you're going to learn Spanish. You're going to learn how to speak Spanish. But to those of you who already know how to speak Spanish, there's still a lot of things that you're going to learn as well. We take a good look at the grammar, the structure of the language, how it's formed, how to read and write good sentences and things like that, which you may not know. You may only be able to speak the language. So there's still a lot that you'll learn, even if you like, well, I already know Spanish. Why should I take this class?
Yeah.
Plus, like I said, we go into a lot about the culture. There's more to learning Spanish than just the language. We talk about famous musicians and artists, the dances, and we learned how to do some of the dances last year. You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
And we look at different countries, and we do a lot of cool, fun projects. So I think that's what a student could look forward to in taking, my class as an elective.
Yes. Okay. What are some benefits for the kids if they join Spanish?
So, I mean, learning another language is a huge deal. Being bilingual opens so many new doors for you in your future. So many opportunities that maybe right now as a teenager, you don't understand the point. But when you grow up and you're an adult, you'll be like, man, I really wish, I would have paid attention in Spanish class or any language class, because knowing another language helps you out in so many opportunities, like in your jobs. If you like to travel, maybe you really want to travel one day. Knowing another language opens doors where not every country that you could travel to is going to speak English. So even if you just know one other language, for example, I traveled to a bunch of countries in Europe, and one was France. And I can speak French, but not as well as I speak Spanish and obviously English. And I found when I would speak Spanish, I could communicate to anyone, even in France. And English, not many people could speak English, but Spanish, I could do it. And everybody was understanding. So you never know, even if you don't want to do anything where you think knowing another language in your job or your career choice will help you. Simply as traveling all over the world, knowing 2 languages, 3 languages is so useful and helpful.
Yes. Well, there you have it, guys. Those were all the questions. If